Do you have any presuppositions that don't have justifications?
Well, I think everybody's worldview bottoms out at some point where there's no justifications. That's why I believe in paradigm level circularity.
So you do have some level of circularity at the base layer of your worldview.
I'm saying everybody does.
Okay, so
because the only other option is some form of foundationalism or self-evidence, and I don't see how you can be consistent with that.
So is it a little bit of special pleading that you prefer yours over someone else's due to the circularity happening?
No, it's not special pleading if my argument is that everybody has circularity.
Right, but you prefer yours over someone else's.
It's not a personal preference. It's it's demonstratable via the inconsistencies by the reductio in the other positions.
But isn't part of your reductio the fact that the other worldviews have circularity?
No, it's that they contradict.
Every other position contradicts itself.
Yeah, at a fundamental level, when we flesh out what their argument is, that's why it's a comparison of worldviews. Transcendental argumentation is a comparison of rival worldviews. So the fact that I say that everybody at root relies on some paradigm level circularity, that's not the problem, because I said everybody has that problem, that position. So how would we argue if that's the case? The only way to do it is to argue whether the positions as a whole are coherent, whether they have grounding, or whether they contradict at a fundamental level.
Well, have you heard every worldview possible? Or have you heard every worldview that is held on Earth?
No, it's not necessary, because every worldview of necessity has a few basic starting points that they have to begin with, and those starting points then determine the rest of the system.
Okay, so like a materialist or an empiricist, what is the contradiction?
Well, they're not able to give an account for the argumentation that they use as rank materialists. So they have to utilize things that are impossible on a materialist perspective, such as laws of logic, universals, mathematical entities, meaning, concepts, etc.
So at some point, don't you reach a point where you cannot give an accountability or a justification?
Yes, hence why I said all worldviews at a paradigm level are circular.
Right, but you just stated that empiricists, materialists have this contradiction, but then you just admitted that you have your own.
Yeah, paradigm level circularity is not the same thing as a contradiction. Two different things.
So then, what's the paradigm level contradiction for empiricists?
Well, empiricism can't justify empiricism's presupposition that all knowledge comes through sense data. You can't find in sense data the truth of the proposition that all knowledge comes through sense data.
So that's just saying that they have a presupposition without a justification.
No, it's a contradiction.
No, it's not.
It is a contradiction.
Okay, can you explain that
All
one more
knowledge
time?
comes. Listen, all knowledge comes through sense data. That's a proposition that's a starting point for all empiricism. That proposition is not found in sense data. That's a contradiction. That's not circularity.
Say that last.
Let me give you an example of circularity, right? Like, I can't define words without using words. So in linguistic philosophy, that's kind of an obvious circularity.
Right. So it's
but
like
we wouldn't say that that's a contradiction, whereas the empiricist argument is a contradiction.
And explain one more time. Sorry, this is hard. This is tough stuff. Why is that a contradiction that our information and data comes from our experience?
No. The claim, all knowledge comes through sense data, itself is not found in sense data. That's the contradiction.
What if it's human knowledge?
It won't matter how you qualify it. You still can't know that. If you're
Well, you could qualify all humans, but you could not qualify all knowledge.
You're missing the point. Like, the proposition itself. Listen, the truth of the proposition itself is not found in sense data.
So I could say all humans are mammals, and I don't need to study every human being to understand that. Why can you not say all humans? Why can you not
analytic truth?
Why can you not say? Hold on.
This is the analytic synthetic distinction. That doesn't tell you anything. That's why it's not relevant.
I don't
get
why.
Analytic truths are not empirical truths.
I still don't understand why human knowledge cannot be gained through empiricism and
You're not
experience.
justified in making the claim
And
on
yet, at
empirical
some
grounds.
point on a ground level, you're not justified for your beliefs as well.
No,
So there's
again,
not a
you're
reduction.
confusing circularity with a contradiction. That's two different things.
You are confusing it actually because you're saying my circularity is empiricism, but then when I point out that at some point you have that problem,
So
then
you think circularity and contradictions are the same things? Okay, good job.
no, I'm saying you are because you're saying empiricism ultimately is unjustified and circular, but you just admitted that
Can you explain to me what my argument is about empiricism first before we proceed?
you're saying that I don't have a
Restate the
justification.
argument.
Okay, I think what you said was that empiricism. Well, first of all, you got it wrong that you said all knowledge. I think empiricism would be human knowledge. Rests
So hold
on
on. Is there
empirical.
other knowledge than human? Hold on. Is there other knowledge than human knowledge?
There's only human knowledge that we're speaking of right now. There is knowledge from like other animals and stuff like that, but
Knowledge from other animals. How do you know that as an empiricist?
oh well. As an empiricist,
All
I
right.
humans
You
have
don't even
knowledge.
get it, dude. We're done.